And since I just happened to have my tools with me, I thought I'd go through them with you, as it might be interesting.
Werner, du sollst auch mal dein Verstand benutzen. Und du seh mal hier, dann nimmst du so. Nu guck, ich guck. Ein Stück Schweißdraht und tüdelst das hier so rum. Und dann ist das gut.
Ja, Meister.
Und du lad die Sachen auf. Wir sind spät dran.
Let's take my bag. In this bag we have, let's state on the right, this is my torque wrench. An electronic torque wrench. Some of you may be familiar with it. It ranges from 0 to 30 Newton meter, plus a socket, so that later, if necessary, I can turn the crankshaft. The original spark plug wrench, which I've cleaned out to make it lighter, and then there's 3D printed, so that the 22mm tire iron fits on it for opening. There are valves inside, a few fixings for the hose and the valve extractor, a pair of pliers in case a cable, a pull cable, clutch cable or something else breaks. There are some that are a little lighter and smaller. Always with me important the blue liquid. For chain work, it's the most horrible thing. A relatively blank knife blade. Then I took an iron saw blade with me. You never know. 14, 12, 10, 8, the typical Japanese wrench size. Just a baby screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver, a crosshead screwdriver. Then a short extension. This is not included in the total weight later on. My multi-tool, I'll put it aside again in a moment. Very important for me, tweezers. You can always use them to fish something out or pull something out and make your life easier. That's for the stove, for cleaning and dismantling. Then I have my nuts here, 8, 10, 12, 14. This is the adapter for the large nut, and this is the adapter for the other bit inserts. I brought them with me, but I don't know the sizes off the top of my head. I think 6.554, 3 Phillips and 2 flat. And then I have my baby ratchet. You can extend it with the extension if necessary. And with this adapter, you could also attach this on top. And then we would basically have endless leverage. Then I also took a larger one than the fixed Allen key. That should be, I don't know, I think an 8. And then size down and a smaller ball Allen key than the fixed one. That's just a spare TK because I didn't know how strong or how durable this baby ratchet is. It weighs nothing. And I don't have the longest, biggest hands, but I don't have the smallest either. It's really fiddly, isn't it? And then you just insert the bit direct into it. And then I also brought along one of these, what's the technical term, L keys. It's actually become my favorite tool because, on the one hand, the serrated edge allows you to turn in and out pretty quickly, and then you just switch it around and you have the leverage ratio. In principle, you could leave that at home in future, but it's here now. And there are two more plug adapters for, what are they, 1/4 inch? I don't know off the top of my head. In any case, the small sockets on the hexagon Allen drive thing. Yes, the black thing, I printed that out myself and I had it somewhere in my tool collection. And so I immediately misused it. The whole package, including the nice cleaning cloth, actually weighs a ridiculous 1,750 grams or so. The t-shirt alone weighs about 250 grams when clean and without oil stains. So it may not be the lightest toolkit, but I'm not just going to the Bakers. I'm hoping to go a lot further. And that should get me through. Perhaps one more question, why only up to 14? Anything else on the moped that means more than 14 automatically involves, roughly speaking, removing the engine, dismantling the shock absorbers or similar, and so on. Yes, so you don't really need more than 14 except for the 17 for the crankshaft drive, because I'll be adjusting the valves at some point. In another box, I have a mixture of spare parts and tools, if you can call it like this. First of all, the throttle cable and the clutch cable. That's for the tire, the tube for repairing it. On the side, I also have Velcro stripes and zip ties in all sizes and colors, no shapes. A spark plug, the first one, I think I have two with me. Then there are zippers, the fastening zippers. I found those at the Chinese shop too for nothing, so I thought I'd take them with me. Then there's reusable zip tie, two buckles which are from somewhere else and basically don't really match all this buckle stuff, but I have them. There are some screws for the visor of the helmet. I have some electrical stuff with me, heat shrink, tubing, cable lugs, I think they are called, and a few cables, fuses too. And yes, I hope that's enough for a cable that don't want to play with anymore. A replacement relay that actually fits all components except for the starter relay. I also have an old Garmin antenna, which I've already used a bit, but I thought I'd take with me since I already have one. A spoke that I've already used a bit. A tiny, relatively tiny measuring device with measure strips. A replacement fuel filter for the fuel pump. The tire patches. Inside is the normal H4 bulb. And I think I also took one of the parking lights with me and two indicator bulbs for my special indicators. And the first oil filter, that would be in there. I don't know the weight of the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure I wrote it down and can it pin it here below. Next can, one of those big plastic cans. It's very light and nice and soft. Shouldn't really be destroyed when riding. What do I have in it? In the tire repair box that's inside, it's super glue, which usually only use once anyway. After that, the opening is sealed. Two silicone grease things. Well, one, because you basically need one for the multi-burner petrol stove. There is glue in there. I'm not going to unpack everything now. Two component cold metal, and that's the glue for the tires for repairing tubes. That's filling material. Then we have fabric tape, also known as gaffer tape. I filled it myself with grease, a tube, insulating tape, a small piece of double-sided tape, and that's the repair kit for tent and sleeping mats. And then I have another oil filter in here. That would be in this can. Of course, I weighted that too, but I don't know that weight off top of my head, so I'll write it down at the bottom. And on we go with the spare parts. Large box number 2. Replacement front brake pads, replacement rear brake pads, a 14-tooth sprocket with the disc to fixing. I have that with me because I thought maybe it's the 15-tooth front sprocket is too long, but it's not. There are rubber inserts on the one hand for the windscreen from our conversion kit, and the same ones are used for the rear side covers. This is actually more of a filler material than a spare part. These are the rim tapes for the front and rear. This is a fuel tap for the right hand tank. Then I also took a fuel cap with rubber. I mean, it's difficult to lose it anyway, but if somehow, I don't know why, you find it difficult to, then we move on. A rear and front ball bearing for the wheels. There's another connecting piece, the connections between the tanks, and in case they fail. I have various shaft seals and O-rings in there, among other things, the large one for the fuel pump, the gearbox, output shaft, the shift shaft, and then a few others that I just had in my stock. To be on the safe side, I also took some washers for the brake lines. An original new O-ring for the fuel cover, air filter, oil filter, of course. Then there are the rubber inserts for the tank, fuel tank from my conversion. That's the top screw, which also a more specialized one, so to speak. And those are the bottom ones for the rest, the inserts, so that it works. I think a replacement injection nozzle is very important. You can clean it if it's clogged, but it's difficult when you're in the middle of nowhere. I have a connection for the fuel pump, for the fuel line to the injection system. I leave that in for now. I don't even know if it really works. I found that at home too. Write down for me below. And there are my valve regimes. I measured them all at home. All the ones I had, I bagged them up in smaller bags, so to speak. And with my others, by the way, I forgot the feeler gauges with the tools that I've also in there, where the torch wrench is. I've got the feeler gauges in there too. And that's it for that. Yes, that would be the other spare parts section. So far, I haven't need anything from the collection. And my third spare part box is much smaller. It's all just stock material so that it doesn't shake and rattle and wear through the other plastic bags, because those who ride off-road know that pretty much everything gets holes in it if it's not bomb-proof. Right, the box. I have clip nuts for my conversion, both for the tank and for the fairing, and a smaller and a larger hose clamp. I've got something like sheet metal drivers in there, then thin splint pins. You need those on the KLX for the thin one, for that brake pedal, the rear one, in case you ever have to take it off. There's a collection of M6 and M8 screws and a few from my kit again. Then I've got some nuts and two more from my kit. Then I've got some spoke nipples in there. I don't know. They don't weigh anything. They are aluminum. There are also spacers, washers and spacers and spacer bushings. And I have the nipples for the cable. I have quite a lot of them because, well, it's not that easy to adapt them if you really break them. I hope it works with the sun. It's rising and rising. I'll blind you again for a moment. Yeah. That would be the small box. And that would be actually, roughly speaking, the most important replacement stuff. And then we'll continue with the rest of the party. Last but not least, everything that's not in a box somewhere. First, an oiled replacement air filter. Then a starter battery, which you can find for 22 euro if you search the internet long enough. So you then have to spend 60, 70 or 80 euro. The little helper for this, then we have the already used trail jack and 2 tire irons, which are also available for good price. In Poland, for example, they are made of aluminum, solid 70-75 aluminum. Then, despite everything, I took the clutch lever and brake lever with me, which I had already broken off to make it lighter. And unfortunately, a spare lever, the shift lever, because the original one is made of aluminum. And if at some point he says, I don't want to do anymore, then you just have to screw on the steel lever. Then I have some self-printed drivers for the shaft seals for the fork. I also have a seal shaft, by the way. I forgot to mention that. New freshly oiled clutch friction discs. However, only the linings without the intermediate discs. And again from Far East, because no money for a complete seal kit, so to speak. I don't know whether the head gasket fits at 250 or 300 cc, but yes, I hope it won't be needed at some point, but you just have to have it with you. It's rather difficult to set up. Although if you remove the engine, you'll probably have something to keep you busy for a while that you didn't expect. Those are basically my spare parts and tools for this tour. Time will tell what is too much, what is missing, and so on. I've already covered 2,500 kilometers. I think it was 700 and a few on the asphalt in Europe, and in Africa or now Tunisia and Algeria, it wasn't that many, of course. There was at least 100 on asphalt, and then I turned off onto the terrain relatively soon. My help in the outback, I think I can say that in English. To get ahead, I already need a few things anyway. For example, my auxiliary wire and my cable tie and a spare hose.